This episode of Game On brought to you by Ford, featuring voice-activated Sync App Link. Now you can control select smartphone apps with your voice, helping keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. Learn more about the technologies Ford is bringing to its vehicles at Ford.com/technology.
It's Sunday, April 8th, and to prove that you're of age to watch this podcast, please yell out loud who Captain Kangaroo's sidekick was. Leisure Suit Larry will come again. We talked to the man player behind the game, Lowe, who tells us why Kickstarter's bringing back one of PC gaming's most memorable characters. Veronica gets a gander at Borderlands 2 and interviews the geniuses behind it. Pull out your yen. Hi! We take a first look at a documentary on Japanese arcade culture. Okay, if you screamed Mr. Green Jeans, congratulations, you're an idiot. Podcasts don't work like that. Specifically, the final episode of Game On!
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this, the final episode of Game On. I'm Brian Brushwood.
And I'm Veronica Belmont.
And as the great Jim Cutler just said, this is our final episode of the fabulous show Game On.
I know, I'm going to eat my feelings in Cadbury Cream Eggs.
I'm going to eat this awesome Mass Effect laser that we got from Bill Doran.
Don't eat that. I'm taking that with me.
Oh, my no! I'll trade you this Skyrim sword.
I'm taking both.
What is your favorite memory from the last 3 months? This is like summer camp. This is like the end of an era. It's like this is when they play
by the tennis courts.
We got to play like Green Day Time of Your Life. Wait, what?
No, don't worry about it.
Hold on, that was newsworthy. Get it right there. I'm ready to go sensationalist
from
on
when
this.
I was 11 years old.
Come on,
that hussy.
This just in. Seriously.
My favorite memory. Oh, geez, that's a tough one. I think. Oh, that is tough.
You're not gonna believe mine. I'll go ahead and tell you mine.
You go first.
Dude, it's not even a lie. Like meeting Gary Whitta and showing up on his radar and being able to connect with him one-to-one. Like, I was not joking when I was saying, like, you know, since college, when I was reading him as editor-in-chief of PC Gamer, the chance to actually connect with him one-on-one in this space was freaking amazing for me.
That's awesome. I think my favorite moment was actually probably in Shut Up and Play when we all did Rock Band.
Oh, my God, which we're going to do again.
Because we're going to relive that tonight.
Yes.
So that's been fresh in my mind recently. So.
Dude, that's fun. Oh, by the way, if you're new and you're just now watching Game On for the first time, allow me to explain what you missed. We used to record every Sunday live at 9 p.m. Eastern at live.twit.tv. Viewers were also encouraged to tweet reactions live to @TwitGameOn on Twitter. These tweets would then be sifted through by our writer Justin, who creepily sat on a dimly lit porch in South Florida, and the best were sent to our producer, OMG Chad, who used to read them on the show. Yes. Those were fun times.
And remember, when things are done here, we get ready for Shut Up and Play. It's the TWiT LAN party where we all hang out and play various games with all of you fine folks out there. Make sure you keep watching for the final grudge match. I think someone's going to die.
Physically die.
Physically actually die.
You know what? When it's the last episode, what do you got to lose? We're going to physically murder someone on tonight's Game On.
You spent your week comparing yourself to a $10 million chandelier. Here's a week's worth of news in the system update. Our long national nightmare is finally over. BioWare has unveiled information on their solution to fix the ending of Mass Effect 3. And it's going to be a DLC.
What? No!
Relax! It's free. It'll be called the Extended Cut and will provide extended cutscenes designed to illuminate what happened to Shepard. No word yet on exactly what it will shed light on, but it will be interesting to see how much it falls in line with the indoctrination video circulating around. Extended Cut will be available this summer.
Did you play Orcs Must Die and you were all like, first of all, I didn't kill nearly as many orcs as I wanted to, and second, I really need to start talking to my friends again because I've been sitting at my house with my phone off for a month. Third, I think I'm sitting on a sandwich. Fourth, do you think it's safe to eat the sandwich? Fifth, I hate the sandwich. Well, you're in luck. Orcs Must Die 2 has been announced and will bring new levels, new orc hordes, and the first ever co-op gameplay. It'll be released this summer unless you happen to be at PAX East, where you might have snagged a playable copy at the Robot Entertainment booth. Lucky jerks.
Minecraft genius Notch has released information on his new game, and it's called 0 × 10 to the C. Isn't that right, Notch?
Yeah.
The game will take place in space during the year 281,474,976,712,644 AD. The player will pilot a spaceship with a fixed wattage CPU, with any action draining it. right?
We were kind of hoping for it.
Okay, there are also going to be some civilization building elements, space battles, salvage runs, and a 16-bit emulated computer that you can use for whatever you want, right?
Very excited.
Well, that sounds great. Why don't you explain the title?
No,
Not even for the viewers of the last episode of Game On?
especially not.
According to Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick, rival publisher THQ will not even see the end of 2012. At an MIT conference, Zelnick compared his company's business model versus THQ, noting that while THQ chose to license properties from existing franchises, Take-Two was creating original IP. He went on to jab THQ by comparing Metacritic scores and then landing the final haymaker by declaring THQ would not even last 6 months. THQ has been beleaguered by the financial woes of late, most notably for their jaw-droppingly awful sales of the U-Draw peripheral. THQ responded to Zelnick by saying the comments were, quote, irresponsible and false, and that THQ was in fact rubber while Take-Two was made of glue. Also, THQ had sex with your mom.
Remember in Ghostbusters when the city turned off the receptacle where the Ghostbusters kept all the ghosts and they went all over the city? Well, that's what Kickstarter is proving to be for dead video game franchises. The latest? Leisure Suit Larry. LSL creator Al Lowe debuted his own fundraising mission this week, asking for $500,000 to produce an updated version of his original comedy classic Leisure Suit Larry in the land of the lounge lizards. With over 20 days to go, the project is already more than halfway funded. Al Lowe, the man behind the Leisure Suit Larry series and CEO of Replay Games. Paul Trowe also with us tonight. Welcome, gentlemen.
How are you guys?
Hi.
We're doing great.
You have no idea how excited we are to have you on. I think we all have very personal memories of sneaking into our parents' computer room and secretly
not even my
playing.
parents, the Shans across the street.
Are you serious?
And Scott Shand watches the show, so I'm telling you, Scott, I used to sneak onto your father's computer.
See, for me,
Do the adult questions using Encyclopedia Britannica.
Wait, you actually used the Encyclopedia Britannica?
Yes,
That's awesome.
for the questions that were answerable
I was very upset
Wikipedia.
to find out, literally just seconds before we went live, that apparently you could skip. Is this true, Allo, that you could skip the opening quiz with Alt-X?
Of course. You don't think I went through all those questions every time I had to test the game, do you?
Look, all I know is that a 12-year-old Brian Brushwood had to learn who the hell Spiro Agnew was, and I'm still upset that I know this.
A fact that's well serving you right now, I bet.
All right, so tell us about the Kickstarter campaign. How's it going so far?
Oh, it's great. We haven't been open a week yet, and we're already halfway there, and we've had just great results from people. Wonderful responses, great comments, and so much encouragement. We're just having a ball. It's been a really exciting week here.
So what's the ultimate goal of the project? What happens when you actually reach your goal for this campaign?
We're going to make a game. And the game's going to run on all modern platforms. It's going to be updated with new graphics, new animation, real voiceovers for the first time, live music by live musicians playing the music, and just a great a lot of new humor. I think it's going to be a great upgrade.
So now, did you go through, so many times we see on Kickstarter, we see the story of people who had a beloved franchise who went the traditional route. They approached different publishers. They said, we'd like to refresh this or we'd like a sequel. And they saw that old money was having a hard time believing in them. Did you go through that before you decided to go the Kickstarter route? Or did you see the success of other games and decide to cut out the middleman and go straight for the fans who made Leisure Suit Larry such a success?
I'll let Paul answer that one because he did all the dirty work.
Sure. No, it's actually taken quite a long time to get the rights for Leisure Suit Larry. Actually, 11 years. I've been looking for King's Quest, Leisure Suit Larry, Police Quest, and Space Quest for a long time. I mean, they bounced from publisher to publisher. And finally, they just landed in the hands of Codemasters. And my friend Rodney happens to be the CEO. And I said, you know what? We really have to return Leisure Suit Larry to the hands of the guys who created this, and we have to, bring back the franchise and not, an imposter like what happened with the last two games. And they totally
the thing
agreed.
I like about Paul, let me interrupt here, Paul. I've got to praise you a little bit because what I love about Paul is he went and found all the old Sierra guys that used to work there and put a team together that is built of all of those people who love those games.
Yeah, thanks, Al. Yeah, that's so true. I mean, everybody that worked on, Leisure Suit Larry, one is on this team. I mean, Josh Mandel, obviously Al is the creator of the franchise. I mean, the only person really missing is Ken Williams, right? But he's on email, and we can ask him a bunch of questions if we need to. So we're trying to do
best games. So
I mean, I grew up beta testing those games starting at age 12, and and for Al, they hold a special place.
Yeah,
for me, they hold a special place.
Let me interrupt. We didn't know he was age 12 when he was a beta tester.
I love that you're afraid of like a 30-year-old lawsuit in the making or something. Statutory mental rape of a child or something.
Yeah.
So what's with the idea behind doing a remake and not a totally new game once you have these kind of resources?
Well, the problem with the old game is that it doesn't exist anywhere anymore. All the source code was lost in the death spiral of Sierra. All the assets, the art, everything is gone.
What?
And all those archives that we used to have with all the artwork, the hand-drawn images, the animation, all that stuff was flushed somewhere. I don't know where.
I mean, even if we could resurrect it, I mean, we'd have to use DOSBox, which is an emulator, right?
Sure.
So there are so many people. I mean, Leisure Suit Larry 1 was by far the most popular Leisure Suit Larry and the most famous because of the bar and the what a pervert
but that's just
scene.
because everybody pirated the damn thing.
Well, and actually, but I'm going to go off script here. That's one of the things I loved in your Kickstarter is you flat out say that it's one of the most pirated games out there because you sold more hint books than you sold actual copies of the game. When did that realization hit you guys?
Oh, well, it didn't take long. I mean, when we brought out the game, it was the worst-selling game in the history of Sierra.
Wow.
It sold 4,000 copies the first month at a time when games normally sold 50,000 copies. But so I just kind of figured that I had just wasted, 3 or 4 months of my life it took to create it. But every month thereafter, as word of mouth spread, the game doubled in sales until finally, after a year, it had got on the top 10 list with a bullet as a rising star, So it was an amazing story.
I actually suspect that you guys were kind of onto something with the hint books being sort of an insurance policy against piracy. How, if you don't mind, and I'm getting farther and farther off the questions we wanted to originally ask you about, but do you think?
Well, that's all right. It's not like they're going to. It's not like they're going to cancel your show.
Exactly. But seriously, like, is this almost like an insurance against DRM nowadays? Because obviously the big controversy now with games is you have certain publishers who are hell-bent on restricting what machines people can install stuff on. We're hearing about third-generation consoles where you can't play used games. But before all of that, you guys sort of had the solution beforehand with the hint books as a hedge against piracy.
We did, and not only the hint books, but also the printed materials that came with the game, the manuals, and we had a comic book, and we had a bunch of different things that the games referred to those because we knew it was more difficult for kids to Xerox stuff and than it was for them to copy a disc.
So Leisure Suit Larry is definitely from an earlier era of gaming. Do enough kids these days know about the series that you think it's going to be worth their while to check it out?
What's funny enough is that we're finding the statistics on our Facebook page are 18 to 55 is the largest audience.
And
they're equal. It's like 18 to 25, and then 25 to 35, and then 35 to 55, and it's like 18% for each group. And and the bulk obviously is male. It's like 75% male, 25% female, which is not too hard to figure out. But yeah.
It's amazing to me, and I think about like how timely everything is, and I don't know if it's just maybe because of you guys specifically, kids who have no idea what a leisure suit is now know that that means out-of-date clothing for a character to wear while he tries to get laid, and that alone is amazing. But my specific question is, are you guys going to are you going to keep the adult test back in there? Because that was the best part of the whole game.
Oh, wouldn't you be disappointed if we didn't?
Yes.
Well, now I'm more disappointed knowing that I can get out of it.
With Alt-X, yeah.
Apparently.
Well, we won't include Alt-X. We won't include Alt-X on the iPad.
Well,
but you know what's really cool? We are actually offering one of the rewards on the Kickstarter campaign to be your name in the questions.
Holy cow.
It's only one award. Like only one person can actually get it.
How much
I didn't announce the update yet.
Can
but
two
I'm
former
going
co-hosts of a TWiT gaming podcast possibly chip in and make?
You know, we could make a deal. How much do you want for that set back there?
Pry this out of my cold dead hands.
$35 is sold. If I could be in Leisure Suit Larry, you kidding me? That's good enough for me. Thank you so much, fellas, for joining us. And, of course, tell all of your friends, head on over to Kickstarter and just look up Leisure Suit Larry, and you guys can be part of bringing Leisure Suit Larry back from the dead. If you want to, just search for Leisure Suit Larry over on Kickstarter.
Help us corrupt a new generation.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Thanks so much, guys, for joining us.
Yeah, I mean, we turned out okay, right?
Yeah, sure, relatively
unscathed.
Yeah.
Exception of being dropped on your head.
That is so awesome. I mean, Al is one of the idols of gaming. It's so cool that we can have him on the show.
What I love is how much Al has not changed. He's still an awesome character. He's cool enough to join us. Thanks again, guys.
I'm stoked to play the new game. All right, well, the fine folks at 2K Games found a spot in their heart to let us breathe all over their new game, Borderlands 2, and then talk to them about it. And we recorded it, so here it is. Tell us about where Borderlands 2 picks up from the original.
Well, Borderlands 2 picks up 5 years after the events of Borderlands 1, where a man named Handsome Jack, who runs Hyperion Corporation, has domination of Pandora set on his mind, and that's not a good thing. So you, as one of the 4 playable characters, will basically be on a mission to stop Jack.
Do we have all new playable characters?
We do. Some names may be familiar, but the action skills and skill trees themselves are brand new.
Can you dive into those a little bit and explain how they're different?
As you may have played in the demo just now, Salvador the Gunzerker, his special action skill is dual wielding any 2 guns you can find in the game. So whether it's 2 SMGs, 2 pistols, 2 rocket launchers, go for it.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to play the Gunzerker. I was playing as Maya the Siren.
Well, she's a lot of fun, I think, as well, because she's a different siren. We have the concept of course, sirens. They're special females in the Borderlands universe. You're playing as another one, Lilith, of course, from the first game, but now you're playing as Maya, and she can phase lock an enemy in place.
That was nice. She just kind of goes like, stop.
Oh, absolutely. And that's exactly what they do. They stop and they're held there in this giant energy bubble, and it's pretty fun. You can also modify that in a few different ways down the skill tree as well. The one I like to, my personal favorite is Thought Lock, where if you spend enough skill points on a certain tree, the person that you're using Phase Lock on actually becomes your ally for a brief period of time.
Oh, and they'll fight for you.
Indeed.
That's very cool. How different are these skill trees from Borderlands 1?
Pretty different. I mean, as I said, it's all new skills, and they can modify a vast variety of things. You know, in Borderlands 1, we had classes who specialized for specific, weapon families. Like the soldier was very good with assault rifles. We're trying to broaden that out a little bit, such that you can pick any class and be very proficient with your preferred gun.
How are the weapons different? I know you guys are saying it's like 800 bazillion weapons this time around.
Well, we had to top 87 bazillion. So
yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. How many weapons are there in the game?
There's, in the first game, there was upwards of 18 million unique guns. We're still talking about the same order of magnitude here.
Jeez, that's insane.
It's too early for a final count, but it's millions.
Do you have any personal favorites?
Oh, yes. Anything actually by TDR. It's so much fun to just, instead of going through all the hassle of reloading your gun, you just throw it away and it does some damage.
That's what everyone's saying. Everyone's saying that those are their favorite weapons, so that must be the one to hold on to.
I like it.
The art style feels the same. Have you changed anything with your vision in terms of the game? Anything you've improved in terms of the art style or the art direction?
Well, we've made some tweaks to how we've approached the inking, for example, in the texturing process. I wish our excellent art director was here, Jeremy Cook. He's really fantastic. He's taken the spirit of Borderlands 1, what we ended up with at that art direction, and just ran with it in Borderlands 2. So some of it's very recognizable as still in the Borderlands art style. But we've made some subtle tweaks, so I think you'll start to notice over time. For example, the new environments. Hey, new environments, right?
New environments are good.
What we just showed you today is just really a small fraction of what's in the game.
Can you describe the levels that we saw today?
Oh, of course. You played through the Wildlife Exploitation Preserve set up by Handsome Jack. And that takes you through pretty scenic grasslands and as well, some Hyperion structures and everything. We've concentrated as well on brand identity. So when you see a piece of architecture, it's not really just generic bland pieces of architecture. You can hopefully by midway through the game go, I bet that's a doll structure. I bet I'm about to fight Hyperion because I'm starting to see some orange stripes and everything around here. So you also delved into the caustic caverns.
They were very caustic.
Yes, very deadly, very deadly. Watch your step down there. And that was, of course, hopefully you got the sense that was wildly different than the other level as well, because it is different. It's a cave, it's caverns, it's got some new enemies and creatures to fight, and the feel is very different.
So the trailer obviously came out, the dubstep trailer,
yes,
which I think people got a really big kick out of. Did you go with that just because it's a popular theme right now, or I don't know, do you like dubstep a lot? Are you a big Skrillex fan?
Well, personally, yes. Okay, you caught me. But there won't be any dubstep in the game, but we like having fun with our trailers. I think it actually, our trailers, we try to have a sense of attitude, a bit of over the top to really sell what the game is about as well. The game is over the top in a different way, not blaring dubstep at you, but
the claptrap dancing. Maybe we can see some more of that.
That still makes everybody laugh at the office. We're addicted to that.
That was good. I like that. You're doing the wub claptrap.
I'm a bad dancer.
Dude, we were talking about during the actual segment, we were talking about that awesome eulogy moment. If you ever look up claptrap eulogy, you'll totally end up crying. It is the sweetest, most heartfelt thing I've ever seen from a gaming company to do. They were very classy.
Yeah, I was playing the co-op also on for Borderlands 2 with Brian McCaffrey from OXM, and it was so much fun. You guys, this game is really, really fun, and that the fact that you can dual-wield guns as a gunzerker
makes a difference.
Look at gunzerker, it's hilarious. I played also as a siren, and the classes are really cool. The new skill trees are very neat. The weapons, I mean, obviously, they are blowing the weapons out.
Well, and the weapons were already completely rad, the way they began it.
They're doing a lot better this time, I think, with managing weapons and for helping you decide what weapons to choose.
Right.
The levels look amazing. The cell shading looks even better than the original game. They've definitely just taken things up. I mean, it still feels very much like Borderlands in many, many ways. Of course, I mean, it's a sequel.
But the cell shading looks so much better.
But they've ratcheted it up a notch, or 5 or 10.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really, really fun. I'm excited for the co-op stuff again.
It's listening to the folks over at PC Gamer Magazine, I forget who it was that said it, but he described it as the gun lust. Once you get the gun lust and you're all about the drops because they're all randomly generated. I thoroughly enjoyed Borderlands 1, and if anyone hasn't played it, I highly encourage you guys to check it out.
Well, what I think is really great about this game is that there's a lot more cohesion, not just between the weapons and the buildings. Like you get more of a sense of what companies, what different people made these weapons or constructed these buildings. So instead of just getting a ton of different kinds of weapons thrown at you all the time, you start to get a sense, like we mentioned in the interview, of what kinds of weapons you like, what brands of weapons you like. So when you see them, you feel a little more loyalty towards them, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pick that one up again and hold on to that for a while. And it was super fun. So Borderlands 2 comes out this September on Xbox 360, PS3, and PC. But don't worry, we'll remind you the week it comes out with telepathy.
Yeah, and speaking of not worrying, don't worry, there's still a few minutes to go before we're disassembled and put into dry storage where we're left to rot for all of eternity. First, we get to look at a documentary about Japanese arcade culture from the people who flew to Japan just to make the film. Then we're going to run down our list of the top 5 video game cabinets of all time. But first, an advertisement. Game On is brought to you by Ford, featuring available voice-activated Sync App Link. Sync App Link allows you to control select mobile apps from your smartphone with simple voice commands, helping you keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. With Sync App Link, you can voice control apps from Pandora, Stitcher, OpenBeak, Slacker Radio, iHeartRadio, and NPR right there in your car. You can take advantage of new apps and features, including Sync Destinations, where you get access to navigation and directions through your compatible smartphone. On NPR, you can get the latest breaking news and play your favorite NPR programs, and on iHeartRadio Thumbplay service, using simple voice commands, you can find your saved station, skip to the next song, even give a song a thumbs up. Sync App Link is best of all built on an API platform, enabling Ford and app developers to bring in-vehicle voice control to more apps without you having to update the App Link software in the vehicle. Ford has a Sync mobile application developer network that enables developers to contact Ford about their app ideas, allowing Ford to bring them to you faster. You can expect to see a lot more Sync-enabled mobile apps that could go along for the ride in Ford vehicles. To learn more about Sync App Link and other Ford technologies, head on over to Ford.com/technology.
All right, our next guest is the director of 100 Yen, a documentary about Japan's intense relationship with video games and arcades in particular. And we have with us today Brad Crawford. Brad, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your background. Why did you want to make a documentary about Japanese arcades?
Well, having lived in Japan for a few years, you really experience the fact that arcades are still alive. I mean, growing up in North America, we really saw them disappear. So when you arrive in Japan and they're not only just still around, but they're new and big and exciting, it's a story that I feel like it just had to be told.
So I'll tell you what, paint us a picture of what it's like inside one of these Japanese arcades. Specifically, how does it differ from what we all remember in the United States from the early to mid 80s, what our representation of what an arcade was like?
Sure. Well, I mean, imagine large 6-story buildings. I mean, they're huge. They go up. They're everywhere in downtown Tokyo, downtown like major cities in Japan. And they start with like the crane games to draw you in off the street. And from there, you go in and it's just like it gets more involved as you go higher up in these buildings. I mean, you get the Dance Dance games and what even more evolved than that, they have like Jew Beat and crazier versions of like Beat Mania that you've never seen before here. I mean, you get the shooting games, the fighting games, the hardcore players that are just like that dedicate their lives to playing video games. And it's this massive, loud, exciting space that just makes you want to spend your money, you know?
Tell us more about what the really hot games are right now. What is everyone playing?
Sure. I mean, they have this whole new technology that incorporates like collectible card games, kind of like a Magic the Gathering or something, Pokemon cards, but they have like IC chips inside the cards. And every time you play the game, you get a new pack of cards. So your goal is to collect and get better cards, but you actually use the cards in the game. They interact, you put them down on the screen, and that character appears in the game, and you can actually manipulate the card. So you have like a Square Enix type, Diablo type series, for example, or there's like a sports simulation, like soccer game where you're like the manager of the team and you choose who's on and sub them in, sub them off. And it all interacts with the cards. So it's they kind of get you in two ways. You know, it's not only are you paying to play the game, but you're collecting the cards. And that's really popular right now. I'd say also maybe the Gundam series is huge. And they have these pods where you're inside with like a wraparound screen. Yes. And massive controls. It feels like you're actually in the Gundam. Like, that's pretty intense.
So they're doing a lot of augmented reality stuff then, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. The technology is pretty incredible. And we don't really have, you know, I mean, the Kinect and things like that are trying to replicate that experience, but it's unique in an arcade, I think.
The future is now.
Yeah, dude, oh my God. You have no idea how awesome it would be to control a freaking Gundam. Are you kidding me? So if you were going to explain to folks in the United States, what is the core difference? If there's one thing that differentiates Japanese gaming culture from American gaming culture, what would you define that as?
Well, the culture itself, I mean, it's tough to say that they're so dedicated. In Japan, it's almost like you have one hobby. And that starts from childhood. It's like you get your one thing that you fall in love with, and that's what you dedicate your life to. You know, like you don't choose two things. You don't play soccer and basketball. It's like you choose video games. Okay, great. Let's do video games or fighting games, you know, for example. So I think that kind of really makes video games be supported in a way that you don't see as much in America. We tend to, you know, split it up. So.
Now, as we mentioned, the arcade culture was really big here in the States in like the 80s and before, and a lot of people don't have a lot of experience spending a large amount of time in arcades with their friends. Why do you think it's still such a huge thing in Japan, or why do you think it's coming back around and not as much here?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of reasons. Obviously, population density is huge because, I mean, you think about Tokyo, you think about just masses of people. And, I mean, those people are just walking down the streets, and guess where the arcades happen to be located? You know, like right next to train stations, right next to major intersections where the claw games and the exciting, bright, you know, loud, you know, shooting games, easy to pick up kind of games are right out front. I mean, even they have like the taiko drumming game just right out in front of the street. Like you can play the game on the street and you watch people walk by. And it's that train culture, the people, like the fact that people are downtown in these main areas that just draws them into the arcades and creates this, you know, exciting social game kind of network that you can enjoy.
One of my favorite spots in Japan, in Tokyo specifically, is a retro gaming store called Super Potato. And I had to know if you spent any time there. Did you go hang out? Did you check it out at all? I mean, it's very awesome.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's like a mecca for retro gaming. They have a crazy amount of stuff there. I mean, and that's, I don't know, that's just unique to Super Potato. I mean, they have places like that all over Japan, which is, you know, incredible. I mean, Super Potato is probably the best well-known one, and it's really exciting to go in there. But even better than that, we went to this guy's house who is a collector, and he had, I mean, like every console known to man on one wall. He had like hundreds of arcade PCBs that he'd collected over the years. You could like plug them in and he had like actual cabinets. So we met some really interesting people doing this documentary, and he was definitely one of the standouts. I mean, his like within the doc, there's pictures of his walls that are just lined with games that are in their original packaging, like from, I don't know, it's overwhelming. Yeah.
So I have the feeling that most of us will be able to guess this, but for those who don't know what the significance of 100 yen from the title of the movie is, can you explain that to them?
Yeah, absolutely. 100 yen has a couple significances. Obviously, it's 1 credit in an arcade machine, and that's how they kind of started out. So, I mean, to us, that seems expensive because it's like $1. But back when Space Invaders was launched, Japan actually ran out of 100 yen coins.
What?
I mean, Space Invaders... It was so popular that the banks couldn't keep up. They couldn't print enough coins, and that's kind of what inspired the name of the film.
That is awesome. A video game could actually affect currency production in a country. That's amazing.
In a country like Japan, too.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
That's just crazy. I'm totally blown away. So I know you guys are still working on a lot of post-production right now, and you're trying to raise funds for that. How can people help?
Yeah, we're actually on Indiegogo. I think it's 100 Film, the final coin is where you can find us, but or 100yenfilm.com. We've already actually reached our goal, which was $20,000. We were up to 21,300 at the moment, which is incredible. So yeah, we're looking really good. We still have 40 days left. So if you're interested in the film, check it out. You can get your name in the credits. You can get a copy. There's some other perks that are included in there. So check it out. But yeah, I'm really excited. We're hoping to release later this year. So look for that, but yeah, it should be out soon, and I hope you guys check it out.
So just donate enough money, and then it'll be 200 yen, the sequel.
That's right.
Hey, man, thank you so much. Head on over to Indiegogo and look up 100 yen if you'd like to donate to the film. But all this talk about awesome consoles and arcades got us thinking, what are the 5 best classic arcade games in all of history? So that's what we covered in this week's Lead Sheet.
Initiate countdown.
Let's talk about the best video game cabinets of all time. Number 5, Mach 3. This list rewards innovation and awesomeness that demanded quarters. Although the gameplay was fairly basic even for the time, Mach 3 earns massive props by bringing photorealistic graphics to wide-eyed tweens in 1983. The on-rails flight sim shooter employed laserdisc video to transport the player into the not-so-friendly skies where they had to shoot down highlighted targets. To be honest, if you put this video in night vision and remove the plane, you'd come frighteningly close to real-life bomber footage today. Combine this with a massive sit-down cabinet, and you had a one-of-a-kind experience for only a few quarters. Number 4, Tokyo Cop. We had to go with something newer on this list, and here it is. Driving sims increased in awesomeness as technology got cheaper and the experience got more immersive. While it's harder to recreate the feeling of more exotic experiences like flying in a jet or riding a horse, virtually everybody's been in a car going faster than 70 miles an hour. Giving the player that experience while compensating for banks and turns and simulating G-force created by hairpin turns and gameplay became increasingly realistic, and Tokyo Cop was one of the best. Number 3, Time Crisis. Sure, there's a ton of other shooters, but this one gets the nod for 2 huge reasons. Number 1, the gameplay concept was awesomely unique. Clear out each slate of baddies as your clock ticks down. Each time you move on to a new group, you gain a little bit more time. If you can't complete the level within your countdown clock, you're lost. Most importantly in the arcade version was the idea of the pedal duck. Not only did this give you another element of the game to physically focus on, but it also served as your reload, which kept your eyes focused on the enemy at hand instead of shooting off the screen or looking for ammo. It also made for an amazing 2-player experience where you often had to cover for your partner as your paths diverged through the levels. Also, it inspired this awesome Freddie Wong video starring the late Andy Whitfield. Rest in peace, Spartacus. Number 2, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. To be honest, this one could just as easily be X-Men or The Simpsons, but we give the nod to our heroes in the half shell because they were the first. Released in 1989, it ushered in the era of Konami's massive cabinet beat-em-up side-scrollers. Up to 4 players could get in on the action, a perfect match for the 4-member squad of sewer-dwelling super dudes. X-Men would eventually bump this up to 6 mutant players. There was no birthday party complete without a pack of your friends gathering around one of these and slamming down quarters until you were forced to go home. Cowabunga. Number 1, Dance Dance Revolution. Shut up. No, it's not for everyone. Yes, it's a very specific, hyperactive niche subculture. But in the golden age of cabinets began to wane in the 90s, there was only one experience that was unique to the culture of the arcade: DDR. It has been and still is the most vibrant element of any arcade up to this day. Consider this. It's a massive, gaudy machine that focuses the attention of anyone in a 10-foot radius on the foot-pounding action. It's active where most games are sedentary. It's open and communal where most games are solitary. It would be hard to even imagine the last decade of arcade history without DDR, which is enough to get our number one. Plus, check out these sweet moves.
All right, first of all, to the chat room, I say, seriously, shut up. Dance Dance Revolution was the most significant video game of the last, from 1995 to 2005, nothing was in the same league as that. I worked out, my primary workout for like 3 years, okay, stop looking at me that way, was to play all of the Dance Dance Revolutions on the hardest thing. But what I was upset with, no discs of Tron, no original Tron, no Battlezone, no Tail Gunner, the vector graphics game. You probably don't remember any of those, do you?
I have to say, I fully back TMNT. I cannot even express to you what a huge Ninja Turtles freak I was as a kid.
I believe it.
Like, freakazoid.
It's all right. Just let it out.
I told my dad that he didn't love me if he couldn't name all the Ninja Turtles because that was that important to me. I actually said, if you cannot name them, you must not really love me.
Raphael was cool, but rude.
He was so emo. I loved him.
Michelangelo was a party dude.
Loved him. He was so, loved him.
Donatello did machines.
Yeah.
Look, man, thanks to...
Should we sing the whole song?
Was I singing the song? I didn't notice. We should thank everybody in the TWiT Game On subreddit for helping us put together this list. We're very proud to see that the community popped up around such a short experiment, and thank you guys a million times over for participating. In fact, they went black and white for our final episode at twitgameon.reddit.com. It'd be neat if that continued to survive, outlasted us.
Oh, man.
Make sure you continue to use that Clubhouse.
Please do, yes. And we are about to be done here, and that means it's time for Shut Up and Play, the TWiT LAN party hosted by Glenn Rubenstein. Glenn, what the hell is going on tonight?
Hi, I'm Glenn Rubenstein, the producer and co-host of Shut Up and Play.
Yes!
That was for you guys.
Yes!
All good things must come to an end, right? And here we are. So tonight is the last, for the time being, TWiT LAN party. We're doing Unreal Tournament 2004. If you want to know how to get in on the game, go to the chat room TWiT Live 3 in the TWiT chat. Of course, we're also going to have Rock Band tonight. We're going to have singing. We're going to have craziness. We're going to have a grudge match. It's going to be on. But before I toss back, I do want to take this time to thank Leah Laporte and Lisa Kensel for believing in Game On and Shut Up and Play and giving us a chance with this experiment here. And of course, I want to thank everyone on the staff of Game On for providing such a great lead-in. Tonight should be pretty good. And hopefully we can top this from last week.
It'll be all right.
Chad, this is when I lost? Is this the grudge match loss?
Yeah.
I had to do an interpretive dance to Lionel Richie's Hello. This was my...
You and the dancing. I thought you weren't allowed to dance.
I was not allowed to dance with other men, but robots are a different story. I was doing a kind of a Pinocchio Geppetto thing here.
The lighting.
See,
You start every dance with that really, tortured look.
Well, you can tell, I'm building a companion for me, and I'm very excited, and it happens to be Max Trollbot. And then you can see he comes alive, and it's a magical moment.
Oh, I get it. You are really reenacting the video.
Now, in fairness, Brian got screwed in WWE 2012 and lost. But he went through with this humiliation.
But now I see I'm upset, and then I tear him apart, and I realize there's a real boy inside. Watch this. Look, Greg freaking nails it here.
Seriously. I cannot thank TWiT enough for allowing us to do stuff like this every week on the air. This is fantastic. We're going to go out with a bang. Thank you, guys.
I cannot think of a more sensible time to announce that if you're in the market for a new gaming laptop or PC, then look no farther than our good friends at Doghouse Systems. They are the company that provided us with the gaming machines we know and love, and they can provide one for you too as well. So head on over to our website and use the code GAMEON after you click on the banner, and at checkout they will double your memory for free. Click on the banner ad on our TWiT homepage to learn more about the Double Your Memory promotion.
And now we reap what we sowed. Hilarious tweets bring forth the final harvest of words, OMG Chad.
And this is very, very sad. By the way, when we announced, we got some amazing feedback. I would like to thank all of our fans for tweeting at us and telling us how much you love the show. We appreciate that a lot. First up, Shorty says, no time traveler, it had holograms.
Oh, man. man, you're talking about is that the thing where like it looked like it was floating right there in front of you?
Yeah,
dude, it was like a
holograms.
Laserdisc game, full motion video, but it looked like it was hovering right in front of you. Yeah, dude, that was holotastic.
Yeah. Dave McDew asks, did you guys blow the whole budget developing anonymous robots for your trolling? Didn't you?
We can neither confirm nor deny that some experimental technology was very expensive. We still owe Cyberdyne Systems for one Max Trollbot. Sorry.
And then Dexter Douglas says, you folks put on the best gaming cast I've heard / seen in years. Hell of an entertaining. And it's like watching friends that talk about games. So thank you.
Dude, that is awesome because that's really what we tried to do. I mean, if nothing else, I don't think anybody can really contest that we're two people who have always been really passionate about gaming. We got our own takes, and maybe they're not the most popular one. But that, to me, if I was going to pick one thing that I'm most happy we were able to get out of this, is that before this, Veronica, you and I were always like, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? We're always busy. But it's like, I feel like I got to know the real Veronica Belmont on set here, and it's been amazing. Thank you so much.
Wonder Twins Unite. Got any more, Chad?
Yeah, one more thing. We have an official TWiT Minecraft server. So if you want to join the official TWiT Minecraft server, go to mc.twit.tv in your Minecraft URL, Jigamajoos, and join
Jigamajoos. That's their word,
yeah,
Chad.
It is.
You don't get to use their word.
We didn't say you could do buzz marketing, Chad.
Jigamajoos
it's the technical
is their
term.
word.
What are you talking about? Jeez. And join, hang out with us, have fun on the official TWiT Minecraft server, and that is live right this second. So go claim your space.
There you go.
Man, and I have to say, too, that you guys still aren't off the hook with helping me get better at Team Fortress 2.
Oh,
because
dude.
we still have to play in that charity
Oh, my God.
tournament.
That's right. We have the big charity event coming up.
We do. We're very excited about it, and I need to get better faster.
All right. Done and done.
But seriously, guys, this has been an amazing experience. You know, we definitely credit Leo and Lisa and everyone else here at TWiT for helping us to do this experiment and to try something new, to build a new audience, and we've had a blast doing it. We've had so much fun. We've got to meet so many people. Oh, my God, you're going to cry. You're going to make me cry.
I'm not going to cry. I was just going to point out that, I'm not saying that nothing's impossible, but I'm betting if this show got downloaded 55 million times, we'd be brought back.
Approximately.
Is it too hard to go for 55
times?
million? I don't know. We can make this happen. No, I'll tell you, it's been an absolute blast.
50,000.
Oh, yeah, Leo's saying just 50,000. I think we can
with my
steamroll.
emotions.
That's it. He says he'd bring it back for 50,000. I say we run right past 500 million. That's all I'm asking. It's not too much.
He's a man of his tweets, folks.
We can do that.
But I think we have a nice little montage.
Oh, if only we could look back on the finest, most happy memories in our all too brief time here at Game On.
Roll the package, Dad.
Look at that. How much classier in operation do we already look like?
I would lick it, but who does stuff like that?
I will.
That's still a thing?
Holy crap, did I just open up a nostalgia hole by playing Grand Theft Auto 3 on my neural implants?
Please welcome the Glowing Stars!
Down my back.
And we are joined by Ernie Klein, Bill Doran. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, okay, fair enough. That's good stuff.
Thank you for joining us, Kurt.
I'm joined right now by Liam O'Brien, Mr. Gary Whitta.
I'm now quite intimidated by myself.
So Rob, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're going to add the effects later, right?
Today I'm joined by Jeb and Notch of Mojang, also known as the guys behind Minecraft. The wonderful, the fabulous Felicia Day.
I have to say you said, I'll pay my face with your blood, wrong.
Yes.
You have to say it like that.
I thought you would like that.
I'll pay my face with your blood.
We can all agree that Steve's a dick, right?
Objection! You're gonna f me, I'm gonna f you, I'm gonna get 1,000,000 points, or I'm gonna die trying. The gamer girls rule.
Jessica's a whore.
New videos every day, forever and ever and ever and ever until the sun collapses.
You know, I actually am. I love that it has the Metroid song on.
Call 911. It's a trap.
You could skip that screen by tapping out B-A down A start. Yep, you can zip right through that nonsense by entering what the game truly is. Badass.
There is a spoiler alert.
Not even those zombies.
That's very good. Boom.
Okay, all right. I got it.
Just show the video, I guess.
Oh, no.
Wow, he's really gripping you there.
Good day, sir. Good day.
Oh!
He was totally unprepared.
Shut up, bird. It's right there. It's my shot.
LL Cool L has something he wants to show you. If ever bring Daddy his medicine.
I had to mention Pet a Bear. Always with the Pet a Bear.
Is that like you guys into baby bears?
Don't.
That's not something I want to Google, though, right?
No, please don't. No.
I didn't know you were
I'm
going to
really
start.
sorry I even said it now.
You're
so
ashamed. Veronica Belmont, Pet a Bear.
Is everything okay, honey? What's up?
No, it's fine. I just had the most boring dream. Veronica.